I'm Lisa Haisha here at the Soul Blazing Sanctuary, and I have Jon Cryer with me today. And this is who Jon Cryer is, in case some of you don't know. He's an award-winning actor. He's also a screenwriter, director, and film producer. His motion picture debut was in the 1984 romantic comedy No Small Affair. But he gained greater fame as Ducky in the 1986 John Hughes scripted film Pretty in Pink. In 2003, he was cast as Alan Harper on the hit CBS comedy series 2.5 Men, for which Cryer was nominated 6 consecutive times from 2006 to 2011 for a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series, winning the Emmy in 2009. Cryer received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for television in 2011. And he's also a husband and loving father of 2. So, 2. Count them, a boy and a girl. So, wow, how does that feel?
That was a good one. That was a very good bio. I'm going to use that.
Excellent. Yeah, you have so much information out there. It's like you've done so much more than that, but let's just try to make it concise. Yes.
That's a wonderful condensation of everything.
Yes, thank you. So I wanted to ask you a few questions about legacy. So, what is the greatest piece of advice you've ever received?
Moisturize.
Very good. I think we have the same mother.
Yes, and that is surprisingly useful. But no, for me, I don't know. Let me think. The greatest piece of advice was probably when I received my very first career setback as an actor. An actor named Austin Pendleton called me just to buck up my spirits. I had been fired from my very first job. And that was it's such a roller coaster as an actor. You get that first job, and in my case it was on Broadway as the lead in a Broadway show. I was like, oh my gosh, I got my ticket, and I got fired.
How old were you?
And Austin called me and said, Jon, I don't respect anybody who hasn't been fired at least once. And I know that sounds like a strange bit of advice, but what it made me realize is everybody struggles. Everybody struggles, and it's what you learn from how you respond to those struggles.
How old were you when that happened?
That happened when I was 18.
18. So relatively young.
Relatively young, but it was one of the formative experiences in my career, and I'm actually really grateful for the experience now, because it was like a cold a cold glass of water in your face. It woke me up to what it actually requires to succeed in this business, and which was discipline, which is what I lacked at the time, I like I said, it's changed my career since then, because I understand how hard you really have to work, and how lucky you are, at least in this business, in the acting business, to have a job at all.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So since that time, what other setback have you had, and how did you overcome that?
I've had no other setbacks.
Really? Just perfect?
Everything has gone wonderfully well since then.
It's turned out absolutely wonderfly well.
No, I've had setbacks. Nothing. I'm trying to think of anything specific. I mean, mostly, I've had good years and in terms of work, and then and projects that I had really high hopes for that didn't succeed. Or
yes, didn't you do a string of pilots that didn't succeed?
Oh yes.
Before 2.5 Men.
Yes, and to some degree those pilots did succeed, because they actually got on the air, which is again, you've overcome huge odds just to get your pilot on the air. But then to have them last less than a season is kind of tough. But interestingly, so you can really look at that 2 ways. You can look at that as, wow, I achieved this great thing, or that was a huge failure.
Right.
And interestingly, I always looked at it as an achievement, But there were others. I recall reading an article at one point in Newsweek talking about how this year, all the new TV shows, this bunch was going to fail because they had hired these actors who killed their shows. And I was one of those actors, apparently. I was like, oh my gosh.
Lovely.
Somehow I had acquired the nickname of Show Killer, which on some level you take as a compliment just because it gives you power, you know? It's like, I'm killing shows. You know,
I can ruin anyone's show.
Exactly. You know, all these, incredibly talented people, they put their good work into it, but I killed it.